Hello. Your destination is not clear. You can trust the promise of this opening. Unfold yourself into the grace that is at one with your life's desire. Thakur Ramaya, nominee of the Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Jayant Gandhi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, Chairman, Local Management Committee, Shri Shailesh Patel, Director, Dr. Suresh Mani, Joint Director, Dr. Vinay Kumar, and Registrar, Mr. Meena Chintamaneni, to on the dais for the invocation. I would now like to invite Dr. Meena Chintamani, Registrar of the NMIMS University, to initiate the graduation ceremony proceedings. To request Dr. Jayant Gandhi, nominee of the Chancellor, to formally welcome our guest, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, with a bouquet. I also request Dr. Jayant Gandhi, nominee of the Chancellor, to welcome our guest of honor, Mr. Sudhakar Ramaya, with a bouquet. I invite Dr. Aparna on stage for the invocation.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वेषु सर्वदा या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवै सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
I now invite Dr. Suresh Moni, Director, NMIMS Bangalore, to deliver the welcome address and to present the annual report of Bangalore campus.
Our honorable chief guest for the day, Padma Vibhushan Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, our guest of honor, Mr. Sudhakar Ramaiah, nominee of the Chancellor, Dr. Jayant Gandhi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, Chairman of Management Committee, Sri Sailesh Bhai Patel, Dr. Vinay Kumar, Joint Director, Dr. Meena Chintamani, Registrar, parents, spouses, children of some of the graduates here, faculty members, staff members, ladies and gentlemen, friends, a warm welcome to you to this, the 9th annual graduation awards their sons or daughters or spouses in achieving this milestone. On an occasion like this, it becomes, I think, opportune to say a few words about the significance of the graduation ceremony and some of the unique features of it. If I were to, one word to describe the graduation ceremony, if one could do it in a few words, in 2 S's and 2 D's. The first S, I think, is spirituality. The second S is splendor. Then it's dignity and decorum. And the final D will be dedicating and dedication. You might wonder why spirituality in this function. You know, there was a famous anthropologist from Belgium, Arnold von Jennen, who said all cultures and all societies have their own ways of prescribing the transition from one phase of life to another. And all of you are now transitioning from studenthood to maybe a corporate life, corporate career, or entrepreneurship, or what have you. So if you go back, India is the second oldest civilization in the world. And if you go back to the times before Christ, a lot of what is happening in terms of the graduation ceremony has been enunciated in our Vedas. So if you look at our customs, we have what is known as samskaras, which means that the word samskara is to mean to prepare, to polish, to make perfect, to refine. And that's what happens in a school or an educational institution. So the graduation ceremony is called Samavartana, which is one of the 16 samskaras which are enunciated in our Vedas. It starts from the time of the wedding, when the child is in the womb, the namakaran, the naming ceremony, the initiation into taking food, into the school, right? So right from cradle to cremation, there are so many samskaras prescribed in our mythological scriptures. So the graduation ceremony is one of them. And what used to happen in those days was the student after graduation used to give a gift to the Guru Dakshina to the teacher, which is followed by the teacher reciting shlokas from the Upanishads. And it was followed by a homa in front of a fire. And finally, a purification bath, which is in scented water. That was the spiritual exercise or process that was followed. The spirituality also comes from the anglicized version of the convocation that we have now. The word convocation itself is assembly of clergymen. And it was started by in Ireland somewhere in the 12th century. And it was an assembly of clergy. And those days, the clergy had a lot of importance in terms of the educational activities as well as legislative activities. So that's the spiritual connect. It's also splendor in terms of the robes that you're wearing, the dress that you have, the attire that you have. And this varies from country to country. We have followed the anglicized version. So maybe after a few years, we'll have a Desi version because the government is really looking into a different form of attire which is suited for the Indian conditions. So this is an anglicized version of the attire. If you go to a country like Sweden, they use the mariner's dress, mariner's seafaring caps. If you go to Thailand, they wear gowns. If you go to Japan, they wear gowns. If you go to Russia, they wear black gowns and aprons. And in China, they wear the graduates use rented wedding dresses. So there's a lot of pomp and splendor in terms of their dress and attire for the graduation ceremony. And what is the first deconnection in terms of dignity and decorum? If you look at the ceremony, it's a very serious ceremony, it's a very sanctified ceremony. There's pin drop silence in most places. And that's where the dignity and decorum come. And finally, it's about dedication. At the end of the ceremony, we as an institution or we as a university are dedicating the graduates to the nation, to the society. And that's where the dedication comes from. And these graduates in turn dedicate themselves for enhancing the profession, the nobility of the profession, and you'll have to take a pledge, which our Vice Chancellor will read out. So that's where the dedication and comes. So if you look at the graduation ceremony, it has the spiritual connect, the splendor, the dedication, and the dignity. Now, it's a transition, it's a passage from one phase of life, as I said, to another phase of life. And in an institution, and when we say, especially in an MBA program, we train our graduates for knowledge, skills, and attitude. But more than that, as we offer the graduates to the nation, we also want to give them words of wisdom. And that's where we invite people of eminence who have done considerable work in public life, who have been achievers, as guests of honor and chief guests for the occasion, so that you can hear the words of wisdom from them. And for this purpose, we could have had no better person than our chief guest for the day, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan. You know, the Padma Vibhushan is the second highest civilian honor in this country. And since its inception in 1954, when Dr. Satyendranath Bose got the Padma Vibhushan for his work in quantum mechanics, there are only 303 persons who have got the Padma Vibhushan. And in a country of 1.2 billion population, that's a very minuscule number. And that shows that it is rare to get this honor. Dr. Srinivasan follows in the illustrious footsteps of Dr. Homi Bhabha, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Raja Ramanna, who have all done human work and human service contributed to this nation in the atomic energy. Dr. Srinivasan's work has been in nuclear power plants. He has been associated with about 18 different nuclear power plants in this country. And you might know that nuclear power is one of the cheapest sources of power. Amid all the controversies, he has attempted to make nuclear power as safe as possible. He has received numerous awards, the Homi Bhabha Award, the Om Prakash Bhasin Award, the Diamond Jubilee Award. He's also initiated an association for the nuclear operators in the world. He's been advisor to the International Nuclear Power Agency. So he's got many achievements to his credit, including in education. He was appointed to the Karnataka Task Force for Higher Education. So he's a man of many parts, extremely versatile. He's a leader in his own right. And it's our privilege and pleasure to have Dr. Srinivasan here to address your gathering. Dr. Srinivasan. and we got him at short notice, and he was kind enough to consent to agree to come here. Thank you very much, sir. Our guest of honor for the day is Mr. Sudhakar Ramaiah, who is an MBA in finance, and he's the chairman and managing director of PDIL, which is called Projects Development India Limited, which is a public sector company. He has spent a lot of his career, most of his career in the housing field. He has got higher qualifications in housing and urban development from Netherlands. And his expertise lies in resource mobilization, corporate finance, financial engineering, and what have you, in the entire gamut of thing finance. He's a leader in his own right, and he has been responsible for, or he is responsible currently for the development of PDIL. They have various projects in terms of oil and gas pipelines, methanol plants, hydrogen plants, and so on. Welcome, Dr. Sudhakar Ramaiah. At this stage, I must also welcome the proud parents and the spouses of our graduates, without whose support, I think our graduates here would not be standing. I think the parents have toiled a lot to bring you to this level, and I think we must applaud them. May I also take this opportunity to welcome Dr. Jayant Gandhi, the nominee of the Chancellor. Welcome, sir. It's our inspiration to have you here. I'll also welcome Dr. Rajan Saxena, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, without whose presence these functions will not go on. Dr. Meena Chintamani, our Registrar, and Mr. Sailesh Bhai Patel, the Chairman of our Local Management Committee, without whose participation we would not have got Dr. Srinivasan, because he's a close friend of Dr. Srinivasan, and that's how we got our chief guest today. It's my duty to now say a few words about few words on the annual, regarding the annual review or the annual report of NMIMS Bangalore. I'll just cover briefly some parts of the growth, the achievements, and what holds in store in the future. In terms of growth, I think in terms of student strength, we have grown 53% during the last year. We have a strength of about 850 students from about 550 the previous year. That's a significant rise in the number of students on campus. In terms of revenue, and I would believe that we are perhaps the second highest contributor to the SVKM Trust after the School of Business Management, Bangalore. But Dr. Rajan Saxena might, I don't know whether he'll agree with me on that, but this is what I would like to say. In terms of faculty, we have grown. We have about 25 faculty. I think we have grown about 30–40% during the last year. And in terms of achievements, I think faculty achievements measured largely by the research. We have had 12 publications during the last year, 1 book during the last year, and we have, overall, our faculty have about 60 publications in peer-reviewed journals, which, though is not very high, but I think it's significant. We are improving on that front. On student achievements, consistently our students have been competing with the best on all India scale in terms of international competitions. 2 of our students won in the finance competitions at IIFT and Symbiosis against contestants from the IIMs and other leading institutes. And another student won in the analytics challenge at IIFT Calcutta. So the students also have been continuing the good work in terms of competing with the best in the country. In terms of placements, we continue our record of 100% placements for the 9th year in succession, and with an increase in the average emoluments, which has now crossed the rupees 10 lakhs figure. So far we were saying it's under 10 lakhs, this year it's above 10 lakhs. What is in store for the future? There are 2 significant, one major significant activity that we are planning for the coming year, which is in terms of setting up the Center of Excellence in Analytics and Artificial Intelligence. As you know, analytics was we were the first to perhaps introduced analytics as a specialization, and which has served us well. And now we want to set up an analytics lab, for which we are looking for partnership with some of the corporates, and hopefully during the coming year we will set that up. I must also mention at this stage one of the unique aspects of this, the student mix here. You know, we have a mix of 48% girls and 52% men, which is one of the highest in this country, and which augurs well for the university as a whole and for the nation as a whole. I remember last time when the chief guest was talking in his address, he mentioned that one of the reasons why America has been doing so well is the large number of women in the top-notch ranks or echelons of corporate life. And I think with this sort of mix with growing number of girls in management education, I think it augurs well for this country. I'm reminded of a quote of Sheryl Sandberg, who was in Facebook, and she said, in a place where half the men work in homes and half the women work in institutions, that'll be a better place to work. That'll be a better world to live in. And that's what Sheryl Sandberg said some time back. So these are a few words on the annual report. And now finally, before I end, let me give a few, I'm sure the words of wisdom will come from our guest of honor and the chief guest, but a few tips sort of our parting advice. You know, we at NMIMS have been training you. You'll get an MBA at the end of this. You'll get a certificate at the end of this. But what is it that will make us very happy? If at least some of you become leaders not necessarily in the corporate world, not necessarily in trade and commerce, but leaders in society. You know, and that is what would make us extremely happy. This country leads a lot of leaders. If you look at our higher education, there's only, and you form a very minuscule portion of the qualified, learned people in India, which might be, see, only about 21% of those in the age group of 18 to 23 enter higher education. And out of that, how many get into postgraduate education and management education is very, very, very small. In a country of 1.2 billion population, there are not more than 60, 70,000 MBA graduates. So you are in a position where you can contribute to the world, contribute to the society. And that's what would give us the maximum satisfaction. And when you do this, you know, they always say, you have to aim for the top, you have to aim for the sky. But even if you aim for the sky and you don't get there, if you choose a path of excellence, if you choose a path of excellence for yourself, you would have left an indelible mark in society. And that's what you must remember. And while aiming for the top, I think there are some fundamental truths. It may sound like cliches that you should remember. I think never err from truth. Integrity is most important. And even if you are under peer pressure to perform, and you get into things which you are not really, it's not your cup of tea, I think avoid that. I think integrity is number one. Second, and these are called some of the, the internal samskaras that are said in the Vedas, and which are more important than the external rituals. Never fail in your duty, your dharma. Don't fail in your duty. Always look after your well-being. Look after your health. Look after and strive for prosperity through ethical means. I think these are some of the tips that if you can keep in mind, I think it will stand you in good stead. With these few words, let me welcome our chief guests for the day, the guest of honor for the day, their parents, spouses, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I now invite Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Rajan Saxena for his presidential address.
Our chief guest this morning, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, the former chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission of India. Our guest of honor, Mr. D.S. Sudhakar Ramaiah, Director of Finance, and the CMD Projects and Development India Limited, the nominee of the Chancellor, Dr. Jayant Gandhi, the Chair of the Local Management Committee, Mr. Sailesh Patel, Director, Dr. Suresh Moni, Joint Director, Dr. Vinay Kumar, Registrar, Dr. Meena Chintamanani, faculty, graduates or graduating students, proud parents or spouses present over here, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let me join Dr. Suresh Moni in welcoming each one of you to the 15th convocation of NMIMS and the 9th graduation ceremony of NMIMS Bangalore today. It's a proud moment for all of us, as Dr. Moni said. We complete 10 years in the city of Mumbai, in the city of Bangalore. And the last 10 years have been not only the years of progress for this campus, but also in terms of building it up as one of the most credible kind of an alternative in management education in the city of Mumbai or in the city of Bangalore and in the state of Karnataka has been one of those kinds of a biggest accomplishment of this institution. And therefore, from that kind of a perspective, I believe that it's a proud moment for all of us. I'd like to particularly welcome today our chief guest, who is a very distinguished scientist, and also our chief guest of honor, a very distinguished manager with us this morning. And let me also welcome all of you once again present over here. I'd like to join Dr. Moni when he congratulated all of you for having successfully completed the diploma program and today coming over for the award of the degree itself. Well, friends, the year 2017-18, in the case of the university, has been a year of accomplishments. It's been a year where NMIMS really rose to really not only accomplished many of the kind of things which are difficult at one stage and which looked to be improbable at one stage almost about 10 years ago. Today we have been able to accomplish that. Let me start first of all by what is it that we have been able to accomplish. 3 years ago, we got the EMBA accreditation for Bangalore campus. And very recently, the EMBA team which came back over here to re-accredit us, once again recommended to EMBA the second time accreditation for the PGDM and the executive PGDM. So congratulations to each one of you. It's an accomplishment because it's a global accreditation of the program, something that we have been we talked about it way back in 2008, 2009, particularly from 2010 onwards. We were very keen that we should have the international accreditation for our programs, etc. NMIMS University, as a university from where you are all graduating, was accredited by NAC in 2017 for the third time at the highest level. In the first two cycles also, we had got the highest grade starting from 1999 onwards. And in 2017, we once again received the highest level of an accreditation from NAC, which was at an A+ level and with a score of 3.59. And more than that, I think, let me now further say that. You might have also read in the newspapers that recently the government of India categorized the universities on the basis of their quality, on the basis of their accreditation standards, in three categories: Category 1, Category 2, and Category 3. The Category 1 meant, well, the institution is completely autonomous. There are 900 universities in this country. 52 universities were given the autonomy. Of this, 25 have been graded as category 1 out of 900 universities. And in that 25 is NMIMS. So it's a great kind of an accomplishment for all of us, because we started as a university only in 2003, our journey as a university. And from 2003 to 2007 or 8, and even today, or 9, 10, etc., almost when I look at it, almost until 2010, we were really trying to put the things in place. We were trying to establish our laboratories, we were trying to establish our schools, we were trying to get the faculty so that we are able to move in the direction that we really wanted to move. The real momentum really came into the university almost from 2012 onwards, when there was an adequate number of faculty, when we had been able to establish those labs, etc., and the workshops at Mumbai, and we were able to really move forward in our campuses at Bangalore, Hyderabad, and in Shirpur, and certainly at Mumbai itself. And so therefore, from that kind of a perspective today, I consider this as a very, very major accomplishment. So all of you who are graduating today, be proud of the fact that you are graduating from one of the top 25 universities of this country. And not only so, each one of you today have a major responsibility to carry the flag of NMIMS and never let that flag go down. Because keep this in mind, that the world today is going to be looking at you completely from a different perspective as the world gets to know about it. And the third major kind of an accomplishment for us was the AACSB accreditation of the main business school, the business school at Mumbai, which is once again considered to be the platinum level of quality in management education. So 2 international accreditations for NMIMS management program within a span of about 8 to 10 years. It really goes, the credit goes to the faculty, the credit goes to the leadership, and the credit goes to all of you who have really made it possible. Our NIRF rank, the Government of India ranking, although this has been criticized for a lot more reasons than it has been appreciated for, in that we improved our rank substantively. Today we are ranked 55 among 99 or more than 2,000 institutions that participated in that. We are ranked number 55. Our business school, our pharmacy school was ranked among the top 10 business pharmacy schools. We also established the Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Center. Many of you would know that the Prime Minister last year made a call to the country to think in terms of coming out with some innovative ideas to resolve some of the problems of this country, and therefore urge upon the young people to think out of the box, and they also invited then the proposals from the institutions. We were among the 8 institutions which got the Atal Innovation Center. And not only so, this Innovation Center today is going to be involved in nurturing the startups, providing the incubation facilities, particularly to the economic and social sector itself, and creating that kind of an ecosystem that is needed for this, for the purposes of encouraging out-of-the-box or innovative kind of solutions itself. Last year, we also started with 2 new schools, which brought in the creativity concept within the university, helped us, or is going to be helping us in thinking in a different manner. The School of Design, which was one of those kinds of schools that we started just a year before, that is about 2 years ago, we'd already started with the School of Liberal Arts. So the School of Liberal Arts, the School of Design, gets us to think from a very different kind of a point of view. And we also started our 2 new campuses at Indore and Navi Mumbai campus itself. Our plans in the times to come is that in this year, in the academic year 2018, we are also going to be starting with the School of Performing Arts at Mumbai, which will be focusing in the area of music, dance, as also in the area of arts and many other forms of expressions itself, the creative expressions. We will also be setting up the School of Entrepreneurship and Family Business. Our family business program today has graduated today to become an independent school, for which we had received the endowment just about a year and a half back. By 2020, the university would have 3 other schools joining in the list of the schools that we have. That is making us to somewhere close to about 18 or 19 schools within the university. These would be the School of Hospitality Management, the School of Media and Communication Management, and the School of Agriculture Sciences and Technology. Well, folks, you are all graduating at a time when change is not only a reality, but it is something which is a part of our lives today. Almost every day, we can feel the change. We can experience that change. And much of this change today, if we look at it, is not just technology-driven, but there are many other parameters that are also driving that kind of a change. If you take a look at it a little bit closely, you find that it is the interplay of technology today with demography and global forces, or let's say even the social norms that are there, the social structures, which are today creating that kind of a change. And the magnitude of this change today is such that it leaves many a time people aghast as to what was I doing only yesterday and what is it that I'm doing today. Just until a few years ago, we were not even used to the whole idea of communicating with each other almost in a 24/7 kind of a mechanism. Today we express ourselves almost at every minute, either through the Twitter or through the Facebook or through the WhatsApp, whatever that is there. So today is the day where technology is affecting our consumptions, our behaviors in a manner which was hitherto unknown. The demography today is in favor of India, and it is expected that India will continue to be one of the biggest global supplier of the talent itself. Now, if we have to retain this kind of a competitive advantage, then obviously what is going to be important is to remain relevant. And so therefore, for each one of you, it would be extremely important for you that you continuously upgrade your skills. Whatever you are learning today, keep this in mind, there is an expiry date in today's world. And that expiry date, in most cases, is no more than 3 to 4 years time period. So you would have to come back to the school and upgrade your skills, because the technology today, the change today, will make whatever you have learned today irrelevant. It's going to become obsolete. So if that is going to be happening, clearly it is necessary for you all to think in terms of coming back to the school to upgrade your skills itself. We would also be looking at creating some of the digital, or some of the programs in the niche areas, something that Professor Moni just mentioned, something in the area of analytics, and also in the area of digital business, etc., artificial intelligence, decision-making, entrepreneurship, etc. As a university, we would be reaching out to a large number of markets which have today remained underserved or are unserved. And we're going to be reaching them out essentially through the technology, or either through a campus-based kind of a strategy, or through taking our programs in those kinds of areas itself. As I said, technology is here for all of us to live with. The collaboration technologies are a very, very important kind of a source of change today. The Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, automation, all of this are really changing the jobs and the workplace itself. But one thing is coming very clearly, and something which has become apparent today, to all of us in education at least, is that since the workplace has changed, we have to continuously focus on some of the new skills that are required. And the new skills that the industry is going to be requiring of you would be the skills of complex problem solving, not simple and a linear problem solving, but complex problem solving, because almost all problems are complex in nature itself. Decision making, judgment, negotiation, diversity management, collaboration, and certainly managing the emotions of people. So therefore, the emotional leadership is going to become extremely important. It'll be important for all of you to continuously learn and relearn. And therefore, the kind of technology-enabled education models that are there today are going to be a great source of learning for you all. And we as a management school, and we or as a university, would have to integrate some of those kinds of 24/7 learning models and learning concepts in our own kind of programs itself. As a university today, we can now access the global markets, the world market itself, for the faculty, for resources, for students, which was a difficult kind of a proposition only until yesterday. Largely due to the fact that there has been a change in the Government of India policy in regard to the student visas, as also with regard to the fact that we are today a Category 1 university. So invariably, whenever the Government of India is going to be promoting Indian education in the world, one of the universities which will be there will be NMIMS. So from that kind of a point of view, we today see this as an opportunity for us to get the world to all of us itself. In the future, by 2030, we hope to see the university among the top 200 universities of the world, and the business school to be among the top 50 business schools in the world itself. Now that's an ambitious target, but I'm pretty confident that the team that we have today will be able to do it. There's simply no doubt about it. What is it that takes it? What is it that takes a team to do it? And I think it is important for all of you who are graduating today is to keep this in mind, that if you are able to make your agenda that of your team, the team really does it. Which means, if you are able to share your dream with your team and develop an action plan by the team, believe me, you will be able to achieve what is today, or what may look today, a highly improbable kind of a target. You got to really show to your team members what the accomplishment is going to mean to each one of them. You have to tell them that this accomplishment is not just merely in the monetary terms, but it is in the non-monetary terms too, like pride, prestige, power, etc. Many a time, we focus only on monetary rewards, but we forget that there's a very large bundle of the non-monetary benefits which all of us look for, and I think it is time that we can all focus on that. You've got to be able to empower them, stand by them, and continuously develop them, challenge them to achieve new heights, and share their joys and empathize and advise in the times of failure itself. Keep this in mind, that you are going to be developing your admiration of your superiors. You will be admired by your superiors, colleagues, and team members on the basis of your personal power and not on the basis of your positional power. I was the other day listening to a very interesting kind of a difference that was made by one of the thinkers, and she said that, there's a difference between respect and regard. Now think of this. Respect and regard. Many a time we have a regard for the position. So you get a lot of regard. I get a lot of regard from people because I'm the Vice Chancellor of this university. But is it that I'm able to earn the respect of my team? I think that kind of an earning of respect comes from my personal power. That is the expertise, our ability to show certain characteristics which the team admires it. So therefore, keep this in mind, that as a leader you will always be respected for your personal power itself and not for your positional power. The positional power is a transactional power. It is there today, tomorrow it is not there. But the respect for the person stays forever. Keep that kind of a perspective there. Finally, let me mention that you need to, as you really work and work hard to achieve your targets and dreams, always keep this in mind, that you need to maintain the balance in your life and also in your work life itself, your personal life and work life. A happy home makes you a far more effective leader and a far more effective performer than when it is not so. Many of the successful leaders are those, and if we learn from their histories, all of them have had a wonderful kind of a home. And it is that kind of a support that we all need to work for. So keep that kind of a balance in mind. And finally, let me leave just one thought with you all. Keep this in mind that the leaders are today in short supply. You get a lot of people to work, but you don't get the leaders. And I can say this with my personal experience. I look for leaders in my team all over the place, and many a time I draw a blank. So leaders are in short supply. So therefore, it is you who can fill up this vacuum. Very shortly, at Bangalore also, we are going to create a wall of fame, much the same way as we have done at Mumbai. This wall of fame is to showcase our distinguished alumni of NMIMS. So if you are able to really perform well and really achieve the success as Professor Moni said, not just merely in your work, but in life itself. And if you were to come back to NMIMS, to your alma mater, share that kind of a story with us. And if the alma mater finds really a great kind of a story in it, you will be there, you will be showcased on the wall of fame. So you can be tomorrow's role models itself. So you all have an opportunity to really work towards that. Well, let me conclude by expressing my very sincere gratitude to the Honorable Chancellor, Shri Amrish Bhai Patel, who is not present here today. But through Dr. Gandhi, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to him because the kind of confidence that he has reposed in me and the Board of Management of NMIMS for the last 9 years that I've been the Vice Chancellor. This is the second term, which I'll be completing very shortly. So it's been a great kind of a support that I've had from the board and the Chancellor. I've had the great support at Bangalore from Dr. Moni and the entire faculty team sitting over here, as also the administrative staff. So thank you very much. Thank you once again. Thank you very much.
I would like to request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to formally permit our graduating students to be presented to receive their diplomas.
This graduation ceremony 2018 of NMIMS Bangalore campus has been called to confer the diploma upon the candidates who in the examination held for the purpose have been certified to be worthy of the same.
I now invite Dr. Barnabas, Chairperson Postgraduate Programs, to present the graduating candidates. I also request nominee of the Chancellor, Dr. Jayant Gandhi, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to come forward for the handing over of the diploma to the graduating students.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, I present unto you these candidates who have been certified after examination to be duly qualified to receive the diploma in postgraduate programs in management. I would now request the graduating participants of MPE 17, MPE 18, and PGDM Batch 7 to come forward and receive their diplomas. MPE Batch 17, Abhinabas Naskar, Ashutosh Jha, Aswin AP, Chetan Guti, Dilip GM, Gyari George, Gayatri Ramesh, Hita Hejmadi, Manjunath Dasapa, Mohammad Kitur, Mohammad Shamir, Pragya Duderia, Ravi Vorupula, Shane Rock, Saurabh Bhattacharya, Swapnajit Sahu, Ankit Ranjan, Asfia Ara, Abhishek Dhar, Deepak Agarwala, Fahad Rahim Ji, Hemalata Markandan, Hemant Singh, Kalpita Roy, Kaushik Modi, Naman Agarwal, Kauzain Raza, Papli Banerjee, Pooja Sanchan, Pradeep SG, Riti Kar Chaudhary, Rajesh Jaina, Saurabh Sinha, Trideep Bhagavati, and Vinay Pai. PGDM Batch 7, Abha Khosla, Akash Udhani, Akriti Malhotra, Abhay Prabhu, Abhilash Roy, Abhimanyu Bhagi, Abhishek Hansraj, Abhishek Singh, Adhish Mohan, Adyasha Jaina, Akansha Saryogi, Akash Agarwal, Akash Raghani, Akshat Puri, Akshat Shetty, Amey Kargaonkar, Amit Tiwari, Anirudh S, Ankita, Angur Agarwal, Ankur Kumar, Anshuman Parihar, Anusha Sunampalli, Aparajita Barua, Apurva Singh, Arpit Pedabenki, Arushi Thakkar, Ashish Agarwal, Aishwarya Singhal, Ayush Gupta, Ayush Kalra, Bhavana Gupta, Chanda Lakmani, Chandra Nagamonika Alluri, Chavi Bardwaj, Diksha Agawal, Deepanshu Gupta, Deepika G, Devanshu Pandey, Devyani Mehta, Dhruv Desai, Dhruv Kakkar, Diksha Dua, Dipesh Gupta, Vivek Mehta, Harish Chandra Advani, Harsh Kejriwal, Hassan Jafar Ansari, Isha Nagaij, Jay Barai, Jinit Banger, Juhi Priyadarshini, Jyoti Allada, Kanika Verma, Kashish Goyal, Kaveri Nanda, Krishna Saraswat, Kritika Bhandari, Kriti Govil, Gaurav Kumar, Kunal Daga, Laksh Narang, Madhur Bhutani, Malika Mehta, Manasi Bhadane, Manpreet Singh, Meenal Chaudhary, Nandini Kalra, Nidhi Periwal, Nishant Ranjan, Nishigantha Sarolkar, Om Sangani, Pallavi Sharma, Paridhi Katyal, Paroksha Sahu, Pradeep Vaduru, Pragya Das, Pragati Kemka, Pranav Pandey, Pranoti Rana, Prathamesh Deshmukh, Pratik Agarwal, Pratyasha Chaudhary, Pratyush Sharma, Radhika Mundra, Rahul Kemka, Rahul Kumar, Rahul Tuli, Rahul Vijay Kumar, Ranjit Mukherjee, Ravi Kiran Nallanagulu, Revati Jha, Rishabh Jain, Rishika Chaudhary, Ritika Kanga, Ritviga Ray, Sahiba Marwa, Samir Panigrahi, Satish Kumar Radhakrishnan, Shaleen Gupta, Shamona Jain, Shivani, Shivani Gokani, Shreyans Jain, Shruti Sambashivan, Shubham Mittal, Siddharth Mahajan, Siddhartha Ghosh, Siddhant Arora, Smith Jeswani, Smriddhi Mahajan, Smriti Gade, Smritika Kishore, Sneha Yadav, Sonakshi Vij, Shomajit Mahapatra, Sridhar VT, Suhani Dasot, Sundeep Vijay Parapu, Surbhi Mathur, Svetana Nigam, Tarun Purtipati, Urvika Jain, Vaishav Bacha, Vedansh, Vishakha Prasad, Vibhuti Bakshi, Vishnuvarthan A, Vivek Sagar, Yatika Singhal, and Yukti Kalra. Honorable Vice Chancellor, I now present unto you these candidates in absentia who have also been certified after examination to be duly qualified to receive the diploma in postgraduate program in management in the Faculty of Management: Anand Agarwal, Srinivasan R, and others.
May I now request Dr. Suresh Moni, Director, Bangalore Campus, to come forward and announce the Best Student and Merit Awards for the graduating cohort at the Bangalore Campus. I now invite Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, to present the medals to the top-ranking students. I request the Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, and our guest of honor, Mr. Sudhakar Ramaya, to join him on stage.
Okay, the first set of awards are for the executive program. This is for the executive PGDM program, batch 17. And the rank holder is Harshit Mehta. I believe he's not here, so I will give it to him. The first rank for the batch 18 goes to Mithali Chawla. She's also not there apparently. Okay. Then this. Then GDM. Okay. Now these are the awards and the medals for the top ranking students in the PGDM program, PGDM batch 7. The top rank goes to Kritika Bandari. Congratulations. The second ranking student who just missed out the top rank by 0.01 GPA is Smritika Kishore. The third ranked student is Diksha Agarwal. Thus all the three top rank goes to girls. This is for? This 17. They are getting a medal, is it?
Yeah, it's ready. Certificates.
Okay. The top 10% for the executive batch 17, the first goes to Harshit Mehta. I think he's not there. The second rank goes to Saurav Bhattacharya. Then. Congratulations. Good.
Yes.
There are three here, isn't it?
First two, three, but first two both are absent.
Okay. MP batch 18, there are three rankers. The first is Mithali Chawla. I think she's not here. The second is Francis Babu. He's also not there. The third rank is Pradeep SG. Over. This one, no? This one, no?
PGDM top 10 position.
This one. Congratulations. This for this year.
Yeah, see. His name won't be there. 10th won't be there.
Sure.
Because of the years, no? He is also won't be there.
Okay. Now these are the top 10 percentile, top 10% for the PGDM for the 4th, 5th, and 6th trimesters. They will get the certificates. The first rank goes to Smritika Kishore. This is for the second year, the fourth, fifth, and sixth trimesters. Next is Ritvika Tapas Jayashri. She's not there? Okay. Next is Kritika Bhandari. Next is Diksha Agarwal. After that is Hassan Jafar Ansari. Next we have Jinit Banker. After that is Sameer Panigrahi. Then we have Shruti Sambashivan. After Shruti is Shubham Mittal. After Shubham is Ritika Anil Kumar. Ritika is there? Yeah. After Ritika is Sai Tarun. Sai Tarun not there. After Sai Tarun is Monica Alluri. After Monica is Abhilash Roy. Okay. After that? After that is Sayali Sunil Sangita. There, Sayali is not, that's all. That's all? Okay.
May I now request Dr. Suresh Moni to come forward and announce the awards for faculty and staff of NMIMS Bangalore.
Before that, there was an award for the best student of the year, which was decided by a faculty body, keeping in view the academics as well as contributions to activities, achievements in various competitions, etc. And the faculty body decided that the best student for the year is Sai Tarun. He is not there. I think Sai Tarun is not here, so we'll not do. So we had initiated this practice of having awards for the best faculty in terms of best teacher, best researcher, and an overall best faculty award, and also for the best non-teaching staff member. And this is evaluated by an independent group comprising Dr. Jayashankaran, who's our advisor, and a couple of members of the Board of Studies. And this is based on a self-assessment of the various faculty. They give their contributions during the year in terms of teaching as well as the research. So the best teacher for the year, teaching faculty for the year, this time is they are joint winners, Dr. Aparna and Dr. Narayani.
I now call upon our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to authorize the graduating students to wear the robes ordained as insignia of their certificates.
Already given to me by the Board of Management of SUKM's NMIMS University. I admit you to the diploma in the School of Business.
To introduce our guest of honor for the day, Mr. Sudhakar Ramaya. Sir is the Director Finance, Chairman and Managing Director, Projects and Development India Limited. Prior to joining PDIL, Sir has worked as the General Manager Finance with Housing and Urban Development Corporation Limited. Sir holds an MBA from the Institute of Management Technology, Ghaziabad, CFA, and a post-graduation diploma.
Respected Dr. Srinivasan, other dignitaries on the dais, faculty and staff, esteemed guests and invitees, parents, spouses, and my dear young graduates. It is my privilege and honor to address the convocation of this prestigious institute. I am thankful to the management of this institute for inviting me on this special occasion. NMIMS has distinguished itself over the years to a preeminent institution for management studies. It is your hard work, devotion, and dedication of your teachers and staff and vision of your management which is responsible for this notable achievement. My dear young friends, first of all, my heartiest congratulations to all of you for having earned this coveted degree. It is your sheer hard work and dedication which has brought you this moment of glory. It is a moment of pride for all of you as much as it is for your teachers, parents, spouses, and those who had any part in shaping your life till this stage. I would request the audience to join their hands together for a big applause for these young graduates for their well-deserved accomplishment. My dear friends, as I look at you, I feel tremendous pride. You are bright and enthusiastic. You are the stewards of the nation and custodian of rich tradition of antiquity with modernization. As we march towards becoming a developed nation, your role as that of 800 million youth of the country as productive assets of the nation becomes increasingly important. Friends, it is but natural that each one of you have different dreams. Unlike few decades ago, when the career choices were limited, today you have varied choices for embracing a career which may be academics, research, higher studies, industry, entrepreneurship, and maybe administrative services also. May I say, whichever field you choose, you should be a career where you derive the most internal satisfaction. May I exhort you to inculcate dreaming big and dedicate all your energy needs to be inculcated within you. You should join and hold on to your goals and dreams, even if you stumble here and there and learn your lessons. I would like you to remember that besides being gifted and talented, you are fortunate. If you see it from the tech context of India, we are probably passing through the most exciting times in the country. We are becoming the second largest global economy, and that too in the consumer area. We have a huge startup ecosystem. Our GDP growth is the highest among the major economies in the world. There is significant increase in the FDI. Today, Indian economy stands integrated with the global economy. There is huge push by the government of India, both in terms of like Digital India and other economic reforms. The major one recently started by the government, the GST. The Make in India vision of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi is gradually turning India into a global economic hotspot, wherein international renowned enterprises are keen to start up their operations in India. All this will give rise to huge opportunities and with varied career opportunities for all of you. And there would be international working ethos and practices, and you will get global pay packages also. However, at the same time, when the scenario is changing in India, it would also bring many challenges for all of you. And we have to globally compete. PDIL is playing a very major role in all these projects. PDIL is playing a major role for making self-reliance within the country, thereby reducing the import content of urea and which is used in the fertilizer sector. Last but not the least, I would like you to remind that for achieving success in life and make a difference in this world, remember the age-old wisdom. Vidya dadati vinayam. Knowledge leads to happiness. Knowledge gives discipline. From discipline comes worthiness. From worthiness, one gets wealth. And from wealth, one does good deeds. And from that comes joy. Remain humble and attached to your roots. Thank and repay to all those who supported you and took pains for you, be that your parents, teachers, the institute, or anyone else who has helped to shape your career. Once again, my heartiest congratulations to all the young graduates for a new career which they are going to begin from today. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir. It is my privilege to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest of the day, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, recipient of honors like Padma Vibhushan, Padma Bhushan, and Padma Shri. Dr. M.R. Srinivasan is a pioneer in nuclear power. Sir has served as the Chairman, Atomic Energy Commission and Secretary, Department of Atomic Energy. He is one of the towering personalities who ably guided India's nuclear program. Sir has worked with Dr. Homi Bhabha on the construction of India's first nuclear reactor, Apsara. He played a crucial role, both technically and politically, in the tense Indo-US nuclear deal. Dr. Srinivasan has also served as a senior advisor at the International Atomic Energy Agency, Vienna, from 1990 to 1992. He was also the member of the Planning Commission of India, Government of India, from 1996 to 1998. He was a member of India's National Security Advisory Board from 2002 to 2004, and again from 2006 to 2008. Sir has been accorded with Sanjay Gandhi Award for Science and Technology, Homi Bhabha Gold Medal, and Homi Bhabha Lifetime Achievement Award. I now request nominee of the Chancellor, Dr. Jayant Gandhi, to formally invite Dr. M.R. Srinivasan to deliver the graduation ceremony address.
I invite Dr. M.R. Srinivasan to deliver his graduation ceremony address. Thank you, sir.
Dr. Gandhi, nominee of the Chancellor, Shri Bharat Sanghvi, who is not able to be here, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, Chairman, Local Management Committee, Shri Shailesh Patel, Guest of Honor, Shri Sudhakar Ramaya, the Director of the Institute, Dr. Mani, other members of the podium, members of the faculty, graduating students, parents of the students and family members who are gathered here, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank the organizers for having invited me and my wife to participate in this graduation function. First of all, congratulations to all of you who have graduated today, and wish you all the very best in your future life. Congratulations to the Nasim Munji Institute of Management Studies, the parent body of which is in Bombay for a long time, and to the Bengaluru campus for providing high-quality education management sciences in Bangalore. Well, of course, I heard with great interest the vision of the university for the years to come, which the Vice Chancellor has explained, and I certainly wish him and all his colleagues success in reaching the goal of excellence that he has indicated. Well, Dr. Mani, in his opening remarks, referred to the importance of convocation functions and the attires and so forth. I remember that when I first received my degree, my first degree, way back in 1950 in Mysore, at the hands of the then Maharaja of Mysore, we actually wore a long black coat called achkan or whatever it is, and a white pair of pants, and we had a Mysore turban and a kamarband and so forth. So now in today's paper is a statement that a special committee has been set up to find out a more appropriate dress for convocations in future. So possibly from next year onwards, you may well have a more Indian attire for convocations, because some of our political leaders have been a little unhappy with the mortarboard and the gown. In fact, I had to wear one of these things when I received a doctorate degree from Mysore University some many years ago. Now, Dr. Mani also referred to the Upanishadic advice to noviates who moved through life from, let's say, brahmacharya into later life. Well, you see, in the Taittiriya Upanishad, it says, Satyam vada dharmam chara. That is, speak the truth and follow dharma. Very important, because these days, our value systems in this country seem to have gone somewhat out of control into some undesirable kind of regime. Of course, he also went on to say, Matrudevo Bhava, Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, and then to say, Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Nadeyam. If you're going to give some help or money or whatever it be, you do it in a righteous way and not with Ashraddha, which means having some kind of a motive and so forth. He also went on to say, Swadhyayan Ma Pramadaha. That means you always continue to do self-learning as you go along. Learning is a continuous process and you never stop learning. So of course these points were also referred to by the Vice Chancellor and your Director. Now, of course, it's very happy to see here that nearly more than 50% of the graduating class are women, and that many of the medal winners are also women. Some years ago, I used to serve in the UPSC selection committees, and I have been noticing that on quite a few occasions, the toppers have been ladies. So it's a very good thing that ladies are now coming up and doing very well in the academic sphere. Although, of course, India today is still having a big problem with ensuring the honor and dignity of women and children, and girls especially. So I think there's a great deal to be done, but I think more of women in responsible positions will probably contribute to society going through a transformation where it'll treat women and girl children in a more optimal manner. Well, I'd like to just be a little biographical. I'd like to say that when I was building up my career, there was no formal training in management in India, at any rate. Now, people of my generation picked up management skills as we worked our way through in our assignments. It was a hit and miss process. Many times we were right and sometimes we were not right. But I had the good fortune of working with two extraordinary persons who in a sense were born managers, Dr. Homi Bhabha and Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. They were both excellent man managers and also technology managers. But then they had completely different styles of management. Sometimes good to recall the lives of some of these people who made a lasting contribution to the country to see what we can learn from them. Dr. Bhabha had a magisterial presence, had a very sharp mind. When a new problem was being explained to him, his mind would run faster than the words of the interlocutor. He would be ready with penetrating questions before the interlocutor or the younger colleague had actually completed what he had to say. This is certainly unnerving to the younger man, but if the younger colleague stood his ground and explained his views logically, Bhabha listened and encouraged the younger man to develop his ideas further and move on. Dr. Bhabha often entrusted his colleagues with problems that they had not encountered earlier. This was very necessary in the kind of work we were doing. The colleague often did not have a clear idea or a roadmap for solving the problem. Of course, he encountered difficulties and made mistakes, but Bhabha never once reprimanded anyone for such mistakes. He would immediately ask what lessons were learned from the earlier experience, and then ask that we get on with problem solving and achieve the desired result. At the end of this exercise, many members of Bhabha's team achieved successes they had hardly imagined that was possible. This kind of leadership was essential in the development of atomic energy initially and later on of the space activities, where we had to acquire our own technological capabilities. There's something quite unique in India because we have always, for a very long time, depended on, even today continue to depend on technology and knowledge inputs from outside. Turning to Sarabhai, he was a very approachable person, completely different from Dr. Bhabha. And anyone, irrespective of his position, had access to him. He believed in what he had called at one time as horizontal controls or participative management. When discussing a project, he would invite everyone, including the youngest team member, to present his views. Now, oftentimes, this process involved long meetings, and some of us become a little impatient. But then Sarabhai defended this style of work by saying that if everyone had his say, his or her say, even if a different decision was taken, there was less chance of the decision being sabotaged from within. A very perceptive observation of a great manager. Of course, both Dr. Bhabha and Dr. Sarabhai had multifaceted personalities, and that their interests covered not just science administration or institution building, but also pursuit of the fine arts, pursuit of the country's cultural heritage and so forth. And both of them believed in the pursuit of excellence, and this is a point that was being made by your Vice Chancellor also. Unfortunately, today's India doesn't always continue to be committed to pursuit of excellence. There was a time in India when our classical music, or classical dance, or the temple architecture, or the old literature, they all aspired for and achieved excellence. But lately, we seem to be content with just a chalta hai type of attitude, though of course things are changing now. But there was a time some 30, 40 years ago when many of our products were not really known for quality and so forth. But that's changing, but it has to change much more. And every one of you in your lives must commit yourself to achieving excellence to the maximum extent possible. You may never get there, but it's always a pursuit that you must be engaged on. But I just want to recall one instance of the way Dr. Sarabhai managed his colleagues. On one occasion, he had decided to make an organizational change, and this required someone to be promoted ahead of me for the purpose of the organization. So other senior colleagues of Dr. Sarabhai told him in Bombay that if that were to happen, I would not accept the change and that there may be difficulty in running the program. However, Dr. Sarabhai came all the way, at the time I was then located in Kalpakkam near Madras, and he and I traveled together in a car for an hour when we had a lot of time to talk to each other. And then he explained to me the rationale for his decision, and he also recalled what Gandhiji said, that you must be a good follower before you can become a good leader. Now, there's a very important point in management culture, because quite often, many of you will go through this kind of dilemma, when you may think that somebody really not quite all that great has probably gone a step or two ahead of you, and that therefore you will be filled with disappointment and unhappiness and so forth. Of course, Dr. Sarabhai also then confided to me that, look, this man who is going to be promoted actually has plans to emigrate in a short time, and then your own chance will come thereafter. But as it turned out, that happened very much earlier than I had expected. So the point at issue here is recognizing human sensibilities is a very important requirement for a good manager. Now, in the 1960s, Dr. Sarabhai had a big hand in the setting up of the Indian Institute of Management in Ahmedabad, one of our earliest management schools, with links with the Harvard Business School. So Sarabhai then organized some programs for the senior personnel of the atomic energy program, who of course had not really been exposed to any formal management training. So some of us were skeptic and were wondering how these tools of management really would be of any value in the kind of activities that we're performing, largely to do with research and development. Over time, of course, we realized the disciplines of project monitoring, inventory control, manpower planning, financial control had great relevance to our own activities, especially when we took on large-scale projects. Of course, commencing from 1980s or thereabouts, we have seen great successes achieved by alumni of our IITs who have been chosen to head many multinational companies in India and around the world. Some of us, of course, have noted that many IIT alumni have done well in the field of technology. Nevertheless, their collective contribution to India becoming a global technology leader has been less than what we expected. Of course, they have become leaders in turning out a lot of very competent managers. I'm mentioning this only in comparison to institutions like MIT in the United States or Caltech or Carnegie Mellon and such other institutions which have contributed to the growth of modern technology. Of course, I'm quite sure that graduates of management schools such as this will also be holding very important positions in the corporate world, both in India and elsewhere. Well, I must enter a caveat about management education being transformative to society's growth. Many years ago, I think sometime in the early 1980s, I was talking to a lady related to the legendary Walchand Hirachand. To many of you, the name may not be very familiar. However, let me say that in 1930s and 40s, he wanted to make motor cars, ships, and aeroplanes in India. Those attempts were only partially successful. Of course, his efforts in sugar cultivation, sugar refining, and other activities transformed the economy of Maharashtra. This lady, related to Walchand, told me that her son was going to the Harvard Business School. Then she went on to say, without any hesitation, of course, no business school will produce a visionary like Walchand Hirachand. And of course, I may add, or people like Jamshedji Tata, G.G. Birla, Kirloskar, or Dhirubhai Ambani. Of course, I'm leaving this challenge and thought to you because I think more of the students of management schools such as yours also should produce visionaries. We should not be just content with doing a good job in a multinational company, etc. You must become creators of institutions, creators of wealth, creators of employment. I think you should not be satisfied with the goal of just being a very important cog in a large machine. Let me now turn to the future prospects that graduating students will be facing. Technology change is taking place at a very rapid rate. Obsolescence is occurring very fast. There's a great challenge to human behavior because of this situation. In the business world, one has to be alert all the time about disruptive changes coming from some remote corner of the world. This demands nimbleness on the part of management and a great, as it were, keeping in touch with what's happening in all kinds of areas all over the place. All management systems depend on large teams of people, and so teamwork is essential for success, the point that I noted your Vice Chancellor mentioned at great length. At the same time, disruptive ideas come often from maverick loners. A successful management system has to nurture both to the team player and to the maverick. Now, of course, on teamwork, Indians are not particularly good, largely because of the fact that we have not anymore continued in emphasizing on sports and games in the early stages of our education. There used to be a time when many of us went to school and college, we had plenty of open space and open grounds, and even if we had makeshift bats and balls, we always used to play games. But I think now this has not happened in many of our schools and colleges in the big cities because there is such a shortage of sports grounds and so on. So the lack of emphasis in sports and so on also hurts in not preparing people for working in large groups. Now, in the talks that I heard from the Vice Chancellor and others, they refer to the new areas such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, and such other new developments which are likely to affect the future of industry, manufacturing processes, and business in a big way. Of course, in India, we face the unique problem of a small elite engaged in the top-of-the-line technologies, while the bulk of our people continue to live in the old ways. The widening of the technology gap is a matter of serious concern. Of course, the large-scale increase in education opportunities is just about the only way this gap can be filled. And while there has been a great quantitative explosion in some areas of education, it's not always been followed by qualitative improvement. And this I noted that what your Vice Chancellor was mentioning about the emphasis they are placing in this university on improving quality of education. Now, of course, there are some very challenging issues that go beyond management or technology, and that is, while of course the modern developments of artificial intelligence and robotics will certainly benefit mankind in many ways, there are also issues that need to be reflected over. First of all, there is a challenge that human beings may lose the faculty of locomotion because most of the people keep sitting in their cars and moving around. They may, unless they're of course very, shall we say, conscientious about things like running, jogging, walking, or going to the gymnasium regularly, they run the risk of losing the power of locomotion. Use of hands. A recent report in Britain said that young people there, the children, are no more able to hold even a pencil or a pen, because if you're going to give a tablet of some kind with all punch slots, then a child will not even be able to hold a pen or a pencil. That is going to be a very serious situation as we go along. And then the human memory itself may be no more taxed because more and more people think that it's the right thing to transfer all their memory burden to a computer or to such as a device. And so these are serious challenges that mankind faces, and all of you, I think, will have to think over these things. And I think we should always try to see that there's an ethical and moral component that we inject into our own choices and decision making. Now, we also read about implantation of chips into human systems. Of course, it starts off initially to enable, let us say, disadvantaged people to overcome their disadvantage or disability. But of course, soon thereafter, the same technology is then adapted more widely in order to acquire superhuman capabilities. And this then also leads to other aspirations like challenging mortality itself. Now, these are all things that are happening around the world, and some of you will have to, of course, deliberate over these issues in the larger context of interaction of human beings with society, with the technological progress and so forth. Now, Prime Minister Modi announced a Make in India program after his government came to office some 4 years ago. India has only about 15% of its GDP accounted for by manufacture. China and some of the other Southeast Asian countries have about 25% or even more from manufacturing sector. And that's the reason why they are able to afford a great deal more job opportunities. But by the time India announced its Make in India program, China and Southeast Asian countries had already invested heavily in manufacture. And then due to the downturn in the global economy, it appears as an overcapacity with existing manufacturing countries. Lately, there's a renewed initiative to break into defense manufacture, where of course we're heavily dependent on import, which is unfortunate, and in new areas like solar energy or electric vehicles and so forth. And these opportunities need to be consolidated. But of course, with robotization of manufacture, whether India can really create many jobs in the manufacturing sector in the future remains an open question. Now, there was a recent report in the United States as a result of a thrust towards driverless vehicles. Some 3 million drivers will become redundant. Now, this is going to be even more complicated if we are going to reach that. Of course, we've got inherent problems of very bad roads, very congested road systems and so forth. So it may take a long time, if at all, that we will move to driverless vehicles. But I think the more general issue of redundancy in jobs as a result of wide-scale use of robotization is an issue that must be at the back of our minds at all times. There's the other question of inequality in our society. Less than 1% Indians hold 50% of India's wealth. Of course, a similar situation obtains in the US, China, and elsewhere too. So it's not something unique to India. However, given the extent of poverty and deprivation that exists in India, where basic levels of food, clothing, and shelter are not available uniformly, the level of inequality that we are having certainly will fuel discontent in society. I learned from the authorities of this institution that hiring of graduates has been very successful. So many of you will get good opportunities of working in India and elsewhere. And of course, I'd like to wish all of you a great success in this quest. And that you will have successful careers which will give you a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. I'd like to remind you, however, that you observe certain principles in your life, and that is one, integrity. Our country at the moment is saddened that there are so many bank scams and frauds in which ordinary people's life savings seem to have been wiped out. Now, it is possible, according to some newspaper reports, that all this mountain of non-performing assets that have been created over a long period of time, but it's almost certain that there must have been an excess between unscrupulous businessmen, unscrupulous politicians, and unscrupulous bureaucrats. Now, of course, this kind of situation we should not at all be having, but I think since we seem to have it, I would appeal to all of you who are going to become young and middle-level and senior managers over a period of time, that we must live our lives by upholding honesty and integrity. It's not simply a matter of preference. It must become a matter of our essential dharmic principles. Now, there are, of course, enormous opportunities for many of you will have, as was mentioned by the Vice Chancellor, some things that you would probably not have dreamt. I'll give you my own example. When I was a young lad of 15 years of age, and I used to live in Bengaluru in a place called Wilson Gardens, and at that time, the cooking fuel in our home was firewood. And I remember myself and my father, we used to split wood in the old-fashioned way, using a chisel, etc. And the only machines that we knew at that time were a bicycle or a bus or a railway locomotive. But of course, people now, you grow up with familiarity with space rockets, satellite phones, mobile connection and all of that. So probably you will not even be able today to anticipate what kind of work you will be doing, because I never thought when I was 15 years of age that I'd be involved in building nuclear power stations. It was far beyond anything I could have conceived. So similar things will be in store for you also. And therefore, this business of perpetual learning, perpetual adjustment must become a fact of life. Now, India is a home to a large number of poor people, illiterate people, malnourished children, and others who suffer from various social discrimination. 70 years after we became independent, we still suffer from all these inequalities, although to a lesser degree than it was earlier. Those of us who are fortunate to live better lives have a moral obligation to do whatever we can to redress these inequalities. Our initiatives may include making monetary contributions to various social initiatives and indeed contributing time to social service activities. It's often said that the strength of a chain is in its weakest link. So strengthening the lives of the dispossessed is an essential part of nation building. We must build a society where, in spite of difference of religion, caste, creed, language, or ethnicity, we build a united and happy India over a period of time. It has been said in the last stanza of the Rig Veda, Sangachatvam, Samvadadvam, Samvo Manamsa Janatam. Let us walk together, let us speak with one voice, let us think alike. This does not mean that we have no differences between sections of society or between individuals, but it means composing them in a civilized way for the larger common good. Thank you very much, and all the very best.
Thank you, sir. I now request Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Rajan Saxena to administer the pledge. All graduating students, please rise.
Do you sincerely promise and declare that after getting admitted to the diploma for which you are candidates, or for which you have been recommended, you will in your daily life and conversation conduct yourself as worthy members of NMIMS University? Do you promise that to the utmost of your ability and opportunities you will support and promote the cause of morality and sound learning? Do you promise that as far as possible in your life, you will uphold and advance social order and well-being of your fellow men? Thank you. Please be seated.
I now request Dr. Jayant Gandhi, nominee of the Chancellor, to hand over a token of appreciation to the Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan. I now request Dr. Jayant Gandhi, nominee of the Chancellor, to hand over a token of appreciation to the guest of honor, Mr. Sudhakar Ramaya. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the entire NMIMS Bangalore family, I sincerely extend my gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. M.R. Srinivasan, Guest of Honor, Mr. D.S. Sudhakar Ramaya, and all the dignitaries on the dais for taking out time to grace the occasion. I would also like to thank Mr. Geeta Srinivasan for joining us today. I thank NMIMS Bangalore faculty and staff for their immense and precious contribution. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the parents and family members of the graduating students for their presence on this occasion. And finally, I would like to congratulate the graduating batch of 2018 and wish them the very best for their future. I now invite our registrar, Dr. Meena Chintamani, to initiate the closure of the graduation ceremony.
I request Dr. Jayant Gandhi, nominee of Honorable Chancellor SVKM's NMIMS, to declare the convocation 2018 closed.
I dissolve the graduation ceremony of 2018 of NMIMS Bangalore closed.
Let us all rise for the national anthem.
सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request all the graduating students to please remain standing until the procession leaves the room. Guests and family members of the graduating students can proceed for lunch after the procession leaves the hall.